And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, our second show of the day. Call it a Texas two-step down here. Our thanks to Judy Pastor for coming on earlier today, kind of doing a little matinee, getting us started here. So if you're listening out there in podcast or radio land too, sometimes we'll do a couple of shows in a day out there at the sportsguyspodcast.com. And of course, out there always KKTC True Country 99.9 and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. Of course, you can catch the show now on WSM, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, on Sunday mornings from 5:30 to 6 a.m. to our newest syndication affiliate out there, too. Pleased to welcome in a very talented artist. She's got a new single called Great Divide. It's across all those digital streaming platforms. Our good friend Gina Powers to the show. Gina, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. Like I said, a lot to talk about, too. Well, let's start right there because the single just came out there back in late June. Talk about this one, Great Divide.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been driving all over the place for a while as a musician. We do that. We drive around, we travel, we play our music. And back in the day when I was a younger woman, I was in the Coast Guard. I've always just been patriotic. I say that to say I've always been patriotic. And as I was traveling and putting on so many miles, I started to kind of feel displaced, if that makes sense. It's like every time I was there, I wanted to be here or there, and et cetera, et cetera. And one day as I was driving along, I saw off in the distance this beautiful, huge garrison size, the big flags that fly over the lots and the big places. And I saw it up ahead in the distance, and it hit me that wherever I see that flag, I'm home. And it gave me a sense of peace and comfort and safety, and just, good fortune to be born in this great country and to have served and to have the freedom to travel from town to town and play my songs the way I do. And I also started thinking about how, as an American family, we're struggling a bit to come to the table and have discourse. It would be nice to come to a place where we could have conversation, even when we don't see eye to eye. I think there's a lot at stake, especially these days. And so I took the idea, I kind of say, I sang a hook into my voice memo, and I worked on the song. I took it to my good friend, Dave Lenahan, who's a phenomenal songwriter in Nashville, Tennessee. And he and I worked on that song and got it to where we felt it really, truly was the call to unity that we intended. We both, had a good heart writing it. It was with good intent, and just really wanted to put it out there that, hey, we've got more in common than, we might think about, and that we're always best when we come from the heart as a nation. We've always been best that way. And heart means tough too, but when we come from the heart, we're our best. And so, we put this song together and we took it to a phenomenal producer. I'm just so thrilled and honored to work with John D. Willis, also out of Nashville. And we put this song out, and we wanted to put it right before Independence Day, because we felt like this was kind of our way of saying, hey, we've got a lot to be grateful for. Let's come together.
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
That's the story of the song.
The beauty of it too, the beauty of those songs coming, and like I said, working with great producers, singers, songwriters, things of that nature, really make the song come to life, as is the writing does when it sets the tone for it too. I'll tell you what, I guess if that was one of the two we're going to perform today, now is a good time to do that, right? If that's one of the two we're going to do.
Actually, you know what? I can do that one, but there was a couple others that I would be just as happy to.
We may just do a trifecta today. You never know. Maybe 3 songs up for grabs today, too. Well, we'll start with Great Divide. Take it away. It's all yours.
In a little town just outside of Fargo, old-timer sipping coffee at a Castleton cafe. And as the sun comes up in the heart of old Chicago, Lou Mitchell's baking donuts like he does most every day. Sing my songs from town to town, and one thing I have found, everyone is different. Stand on common ground, and this whole country's my home. No matter where I go, From the big sky on the prairies, the crowded city roams, we got a family ties, American pride. Even if we don't see eye to eye, we can find a way across the great divide. As I make my way past the lakes in Minnesota, in the distance I can see those stripes and stars, and they wave the same as they do in Arizona. I know I'm still proud of who we are. To my left and to my right, people trying to live their lives. We see each other with our eyes. The heart is where we all unite. This whole country's my home, no matter where I go. From the lakes and river valleys to the desert and the coast, we got family ties, American pride. Even if we don't see eye to eye, we can find a way across the great divide. Find a way across the great divide.
That's it. The Great Divide from Gina Powers out there too. Check her out across all those social media if you have not already out there at the same time. And again, it's available across all those streaming platforms. Yeah, it caught me by surprise right there. The Great Divide. We'll do a couple of more songs today, make it a trifecta here on the Backstage Pass. So first of all, I want to say, just thank you for your service as always out there too. Can't say that enough to our great service men and ladies out there too at the same time, and the great country that we live in, for all the great sacrifices that they make. How did you get started? Talk about that. Just you mentioned the service at the same time, but when did you pick up music and pick up the guitar and really start developing a love for that side of it?
Music has just always been part of who I am ever since I can remember or think or even vocalizing. There's a little tape of me when I was like 2 years old, just sing-songing in the background. So I didn't pick up the guitar until I was about 11ish, 12. It was after my mom passed away, and my father, in an effort, I think, to keep me from making long distance calls, gave me something to do in the form of this guitar. But truthfully, I had this beautiful record collection that I had access to at the time, and I was living at that particular time in the mountains in Tahoe, on the Nevada side. It was just beautiful, and but it was remote, really, at that time in the 80s. Certainly was not anything considered internet by any means. So three chords, Puff the Magic Dragon, and a big record collection. And I just kind of taught myself some funky way to play that worked for me to sing. And really what I wanted to do was play the piano. But what I got to do was play guitar. And I'm very thankful for that. Although since then I've learned a little bit of piano. But music always been part of my life. I didn't decide to do it full time, where I just decided I'm going to do this as I'm just going to throw it out there and try full time until I was in my 40s. However, I waited. I took every different route. And for whatever reason, I just couldn't figure out kind of how to enter the music sphere. And when I did, I wasn't sure how I felt about this or that part of it. And so I guess I came to it when I was ready, as far as the professional side of it. I've always sung at funerals, at weddings, at, events and parties, just for friends. But I feel so blessed to be able to sing as, the way I do now for everyone.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, you never too old enough, we say sometimes, to realize the dream out there too, no matter what age we are. Just kind of go for it. Really not really have a plan B when you're kind of stepping out there too. Of course, some people do, which is out there at the same time. But I think if it's, your dream, you're going to follow it too in the same time. And part of that, Gina, has to be the country music you grew up listening to, because I had a chance to check out a lot of songs, including Not Anymore and All I Ever Wanted, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But that classic country sound of that late 80s to early 90s sound to me is that's what that did it for me. And I often say, I often imitated, never duplicated again, although I think that sound is starting to make a little bit of a comeback depending on what artist you chat with at the time. But that sound, I think, it will never totally disappear.
I agree. I truly do. You know, when I lived, my my stepfather, God bless him, Paul. He's not the gentleman who taught me to play guitar, but he was certainly a great, wonderful, loving influence in my life. He used to say, "When you're young, you listen to rock and roll, and when you finally grow up, you listen to country." And I kind of chuckle about that, but there's some truth, I think, in a way. And now we've got the blend of rock and country, and we're all good with that. But anyway, I say, the country was a huge influence to me in the early middle 80s, you know,
Mhm.
Lee Greenwood and the Judds, and you know, the late 80s and 90s, Trisha Yearwood, Garth, all of that was just such a substantial, I don't know, it just was such a substantial time in my life too. There's just something about that particular storytelling way, just the availability of it, the accessibility of it. It's just, I think it feels good, and I think people gravitate toward what feels good, especially at a time where things feel, you know, a little chaotic. And that 90s sound, that late 80s, you know,
Mhm.
90s country is, I mean, that's gold.
Yeah, it is, and you know, there's a lot of great young artists even today, like Lainey Wilson, kind of doing her thing out there, kind of bringing that back a little bit. And then you look at some others like Martina McBride, of course, who was, you know, big back in the day, still playing the Opry today too. And then Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce, Hannah Ellis, Ashley Cook, so many great ladies out there too. And I love this women's movement in country music now, and I think every lady is getting the respect they deserve. Not that they haven't before, but I know it once was, and maybe still is to some, some corners of it too. Maybe a male-dominated industry because there's so many talented, you know, guys out there too. But now I'm starting to kind of see as we take the turn, and I turn on, like I said, different artists to learn about different music and the appreciation and the value of it being kind of the arts and crafts industry and the creative arts industry in music. Um, I love seeing this, Gina, that every lady right now is getting the respect they deserve finally.
I really appreciate that movement as well. You know, I've been around music, not as a pro, but around music for my entire life. And I'll tell you, it is different now. I think we still have a long way to go just in giving room to more people just generally, but man, we've come a long way. I agree. It is so cool to see, you know, Deanna Carter out there, Martina, Ashley, Dolly. I mean, come
Hmm.
on, Dolly. She is phenomenal and will continue to be. She's had, I think her first hit was when she was 12 years old. Talk about the doors she has kicked open for women, and she's still out there doing it. So we're definitely seeing the fruits of a lot of labor that came before us. Linda Ronstadt, Bonnie Raitt, she's still out there making it happen. So thanks for acknowledging that. It's really, really nice to have a space. You know, the industry, I think, to be honest, will tell you, when I've been told directly that, you know, I'm past my prime, I'm too old. um but you know, the audience, and this is what's different, I think the audience is who really decides, right?
Hmm.
So if
They
you
do.
have a song to sing, if you have a poem to share, if you have words that you need to get out there, if you have an art that you need to share with the world and you feel passionate about it, I'd say put it out and let the audience, you know, find your audience, because they're, if you're experiencing it and you are compelled to art about it, whatever that is, there is somebody out there that needs to and would love to receive that. I believe that to be true. You know, I've found more and more of my audience as time has gone, and I'm thrilled about that and very thankful for all of the people that have supported me that way.
Yeah, and the
So
more audience
musicians,
yeah,
music
get it. You know,
fans,
like I
yay.
said, girl power. It's good. Girl power there too. Like I said,
Yes,
ladies
yes,
getting their
just as
respect and due diligence where they deserve it too. And I feel like I'm with you. If you have a gift to share it, and the audience will dictate the rest too, no doubt. Looking back on it too, so I love it. the fact that we get you guys in front of more of the country music fans and the faces out there too. And you guys are playing a lot more of the shows and things like that too. If you make one or two new fans, we've definitely done our job out there too. We'll take a quick time out here. We got a couple of more performances from Gina Powers here on the Backstage Pass. And again, a show coming up this week on Sunday morning on the home of the Opry, WSM, which is our newest affiliate out there, 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. there too. And many ways to listen out there, WSMradio.com, of course, the app. And our guest this week, Kaylee Bell, another female powerhouse country artist, the most streamed artist actually in New Zealand and her home country of Australia right now. Now she's living in Nashville. She stopped by last week and we did an episode, and she's got a couple of great songs she's going to feature off her album again this Sunday on WSM, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, our show, the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com out there too, 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. More with Gina Powers performance coming up next, one of two songs, and we'll talk about Not Anymore and another song called All I Ever Wanted. That's actually a song that's just a great song to sing right now, because all I ever wanted to do was actually host a podcast, and we're doing that right here on the Backstage Pass. So coming up here after the break, more with Gina Powers. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thecadengordonshow.com. Again, that is thecadengordonshow.com.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And you can always check us out, KKTC, True Country 99.9, and our friends at HighTideCountry.net or other syndicated stations out there in Oklahoma, and KKTC in Ski Town of Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado, up that way where it reaches. Great country music audience out there, so appreciate you guys tuning in out there on KKTC. Back here with Gina Powers on the show. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you take it over here. I know you got a couple of more songs for us, too, so time to play another one here on the Backstage Pass. What are we going to hear?
Well, I'm going to do a little country one called So Far Gone. I'm just going to do a verse and a chorus of it, but it's so darn fun. I thought the listeners might enjoy this one.
Let's do it.
Way back in the woods, I hear the birds sing. Sun is finally peeking through the clouds. I'm just sitting here writing a love song. Try to save us, don't know how. Try to save us, but don't know how. 'Cause we're so far gone, and it's been so long. Not speaking for you, speaking for me. I gotta say out loud all things that it just can't be, and it's so far gone.
Little chorus, a little verse there too, get everybody in the mood there, which is a good sign of it too.
That's
we talked about how that female movement was going here in country music, but I want to know too a little bit as far as your fun time. What do you like to do when you're not doing music, as far as hobbies? And maybe some people say sit down, read a good book, or just watch a TV show. What do you like to do?
I really love to garden. I really enjoy gardening. I love to hike, walk. I love to kayak. I enjoy doing things outdoors. In fact, in my baby book, it says favorite thing outside whenever possible. So I do love it. I enjoy warm weather better than super cold weather, though, which is funny because my home base is Fargo, North Dakota, where it's quite cold in the wintertime.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a cold spot. Cold snap up there too, that far north, no doubt. Hey, tell us about Mississippi Burning when that came out, and a little bit about that song.
Right. So Mississippi Burning was, first time I came down to Nashville, Tennessee, I was blessed to be discovered by Mr. Jerry Foster, who is, as you may know, part of the songwriting team Foster and Rice, which are Country Music Hall of Fame songwriters. And I was so fortunate to be taken under his wing and signed to his label. And Mississippi Burning is under his authorship. And so I was thrilled that my, I think the very first song I think I released was Till I Get Through the Night. And then Mississippi Burning came out right after that. So that was the second of my releases on a Nashville label. Man, it was fun to sing that song. It's very sizzly. It's got that fun sizzle to it.
It does. I like that one too.
Kind of sassy.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I loved what you did with that one, and also one called Not Anymore. Take us inside that one.
Not Anymore. You know, initially I kind of struggled to find an identity inside that. My heartbreak songs that I write are not generally weepy, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know. But Not Anymore gave me the opportunity to really be a little bit more vulnerable, I think, and kind of stretch that boundary a bit more with my singing. Again, these Not Anymore, Mississippi Burning, and Till I Get Through the Night, all three of those songs were written by Mr. Foster. So I wasn't attached to them in the same way I'm attached to my own original work. But at the same time, it really gave me the freedom to explore those emotions and just focus on singing and trying to really make the song come to life vocally the way it deserved to. Really powerful song. I mean, we've all been in that situation, I think. Yeah.
Love it too. I also we'll talk about another one you put out there.
Me an opportunity.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll talk about another one you put out there called All I Ever Wanted too, and that's just a great song to sing. Came out it was last year for you guys. I believe it was April of 2023. Let's dive into that one a little bit.
Well, that one really was a thrill for me personally. It was a milestone and bucket list because it was my first original work put out on a Nashville label. And so thank you to Mr. Foster for that opportunity. I wrote that song in some grand irony before I went to Nashville under this thought of what if I got all I ever wanted, you know, I got, things worked out and I became this, big musician or a signed musician. And what if I found out I hated it? And I think that idea, like, what would you do then? Like, if you truly spend your whole life becoming a brain surgeon and you get in there and you're like, this is a bummer. I really wanted to do this. I think all of us in some way, shape, or form, if you've lived enough life, can relate to that, to the anxiety around that notion. Like, what if I put everything in and it doesn't work out, or I hate it, or whatever. And some people have got to a place in their life where they realize they've done that somewhat. They've like, oh, well, look at what I've set myself up for. Isn't that just great? I don't know what to do with myself now. So that's really what that song was about. And I sung that song when I went down there, and it was that song and another one, Going Home, that I had written and released prior to being signed. And so, yeah, that song really is pretty personal to me. All I Ever Wanted. Yeah.
And of course, all the songs we're talking about today out there, digital streaming platforms. Make sure you guys check it out. Great Divide, the current single from Gina Powers out there too. I know you got one more for us too. In the time we got left, we're going to hear All I Ever Wanted or something else.
Well, you know what? Since folks can stream that, I was hoping maybe they'd be willing to do that. But this is a little tiny different. It's a little bit jazzy. I woke up. I'll just do a little. It's a short song. I woke up one morning. I was feeling in love for no particular reason. It was a Sunday. I don't know. And I was thinking. This is how it would feel like if it was a song. So this is what I wrote. It's called "Ain't Never Been Seen."
There we go.
Wake me, baby, wake me with your eyes. The way you look at me, it's like you see through my disguise. No lies between us, we rise between us, and right between us. Tell me all your secrets, let me hold them, let me keep them safe inside my mouth, safe inside my mouth. 'Cause I ain't never been seen. Well, I ain't never been seen. Take me where you go and hold me up until I'm small against your chest, like a note inside your pocket, like a picture in a locket. Send me in the water all the way, let it flow, let me go. I'll swim back to you someday, somehow, one day, in an ordinary way. 'Cause I ain't never been seen. I ain't never been seen. Ba-da-da-da.
For some, it just comes natural. For Gina Powers, she fits that description right there too. Just have the soul in it too, the country music sound, and of course that comes with all these great songs out there too that are there. Credit the songwriters out there too, and of course the men, ladies, producers, sound engineers that put them together. Just great tunes. A great divide out there across all those streaming platforms. We got to take a time out, of course, and don't forget, coming up this week, more great shows on KKTC True Country 99.9 and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. And of course, this Sunday, WSM Radio, the home of the Opry, will be on 5:30 to 6 a.m. with our guest, Kaylee Bell. More with Gina Powers. Final segment coming up. Stay tuned. And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024. And appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there, too, with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here, too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here with Gina Powers, final segment here, the Backstage Pass. Of course, always recording shows there, going live with some, recording some for WSM Radio, because we do play music there too, and some of those you'll be hearing back on KKTC, True Country 99.9, and of course out there, HighTideCountry.net, our affiliates and our syndicated stations out there too. And Great Divide is the current single from Gina right there. You know, we talked about the hobbies thing, what you like to do for fun, which is always fun out there too. But as far as food goes, do you like to cook? And if you do, what are some of your favorite dishes?
I like to cook Thanksgiving dinner. I just love to have that particular meal. It's one of my favorites to cook, and I've been cooking it for so long. I really enjoy it, but I enjoy eating more than cooking. I can cook, but I don't love it the way others do. So yeah, there's certain things I've reached grandma quality status on,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say definitely my turkey is one of them. But I'm a pretty simple food person. I like kind of whole foods, and I'm a little nerdy that way. So I love garden stuff. I love to garden. I love to eat fresh when I can. But I'm also can be a little. You know what I love a good taco truck. Man, yes. I love a good taco truck.
And Nashville's got a bunch of those. They really do, because they're they get out there more too, which is great. And like I said, we just came back there, and I finally settled my hot chicken debate out there too, which for at least only two places I've had. One is Hattie B's, and the other is that Princess Hot Chicken, which is the OG. Now, I'm not a huge hot chicken fan, but I had to try a couple, see how they were kind of there, and I finally decided on Hattie B's. Medium flavor was my favorite compared to what Princess is out there too. I had like the mild or something, but I know there's others like Party Foul, and there's some other things that are out there too for that. Are you a hot chicken fan?
I love hot chicken. I do. Okay. And I'm a Princess fan, although I will say Party Foul is darn good. It's and good hot too. Chicken is just good. But don't be fooled. Hot is hot. Like it is hot. It's next level hot. So I'd say if you're going to try it for the first time, go mild. You can always get hotter next time.
You can. Yeah, sure can. That's why I did medium at Hattie B's on Broadway there too at the same time. But it still came out pretty good. It was hard to finish it all. Plus the sides, it was a pretty big order out there too. That we got a pretty big dish that they had too. Because hard to finish all those like tenders or even the actual chicken itself too with the sides. All right, what toppings go on a Gina Powers pizza?
Oh, that's a good one. Mushrooms, black olives, jalapenos, onions, spinach, tomatoes. I'll take all of that. And yeah, I would be good with that. If you want to throw meat on there, I'd say a good Italian sausage does it for me.
I like that. See, there you go. You get a little bit of everything right there too. Well-rounded too with her pizza toppings out there too, as she is her music too. And Great Divide is the current single across all those digital streaming platforms. Gina, so good to get to know you for the first time and get to know your music. Glad we could put this together. Thanks to Sherry Cranford for everything she does out there for the brand here on the Backstage Pass and for all the great artists that she works with. Appreciate the time. Hope you enjoyed it and looking forward to catching up again down the road.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
You got it. Gina Powers here on the Backstage Pass. Don't forget Kaylee Bell coming up this weekend on WSM, the home of the Grand Ole Opry. The Backstage Pass powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com can be heard this every Sunday, in fact, at 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. On a number of different ways out there, WSMRadio.com. Of course, the app, iHeart, TuneIn, and so many different ways out there, too, at the same time. I appreciate everybody that makes the show possible. We'll see you guys on the flip side back this week with more great shows. Until then, God bless and take care. We'll see you soon.